Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Lobo. The channel is called ZooPF Visual Effects. Of course, this is a visual effects channel. For those of you who are new to the channel, if you actually enjoyed that first 30-second video intro, you guys know what to do. Please like and subscribe, as it always helps me make more videos like this. And for those of you who actually are visual effects artists, I just hope that you'll learn a few tricks and trades here and there to go out there and create something even more cool, guys. Alright? Okay, there's a folder that you guys need to download too, so make sure you guys download that folder. Under the description tab, I'll have the assets that you'll need to follow along with the tutorial. Now, this tutorial was very interesting to me. I had a YouTuber leave a comment on one of my previous tutorial stating that he was trying to create a day and night cycle on Earth, and he did not have Element 3D and needed some help. To me, I thought to myself, wow, I've been using so many third-party plugins to create what I want that going back to all natural of After Effects would be very interesting and challenging at the same time. So after thinking about how I wanted to do this, this is what I created with just using what After Effects had to offer, which is super cool and super interesting. So today I'm going to show you guys how I did this, and this is a workflow. If I spent my whole entire time showing you guys everything, we'd be here for 600 hours. We just don't have that kind of time, alright? So let's move on. I'm going to pause this and show you guys my workflow right now. I already created my folders. Make sure you guys have yours ready too. Composition, new, and it's just called that Earth. I'm going to do everything in 4K, but if you guys can't do that, do 1080p. Click OK. Once you're here, go to layer, go to new, go to solid. Let's call that stars. Once again, 4K for me, 1080p for you. If you can't do 4K, click OK. Once we're here, go down to noise and grain, fractal noise. Go down to transform and take the scale down to about 7. And let's crank this down to about, just about close to negative 200. And crank this up to about close to, I'll say maybe this amount right here is about good. Then I want you guys to go down here to your effects and presets. I want you guys to type in glow, and let's bring our glow here to our stars. Once we are here, take the threshold down to 20 and take the radius down to 2 and watch what happens. Boom. It eliminated our stars. And the reason why I did this was because it's giving us the illusion that the stars are actually, there's depth to it, but there's actually no depth. This is a 2D image, okay? And how we're gonna fake that even more is by taking this down to a point where you like. So I'm going to take mine to about right there, and that looks pretty good. Now it really gives you the illusion that some stars are in a far distance and some are closer and some in between. The ones that are closer have a glow to them, and the ones that are far in distance, there are no glows. Alright, once again guys, this is just an illusion because we're not creating a real 3D world. We're faking that 3D world using 2D images. Alright, once we're here, let's go and bring in our textures. Go to file, go to import file, and your YouTube folder should look something like this. Once you double click on that, you have two folders. You have the night Earth, you have the regular Earth textures, you have the moon, you have the clouds, and the pictures here, you have an asteroid and you have a sci-fi jet fighter here, okay? And once again, everything's 2D, okay? We're just faking the illusion of 3D. Okay, let's bring in all of our pictures in, and we're gonna start with our Earth map here. Bring it down here. Once you are here, you can see this is enormous, 10K by 6K. If you zoom out, that's exactly what you want. Okay, once we're here, go down to your effects and presets, type in sphere. Bring CC sphere into your Earth map, and there it is, just like that, okay? Now I need to show you guys something really quick. So let's go and create a new camera. And I'm keeping mine 50mm, but you guys can do whatever you want, okay? Click OK. Now make sure you click this icon here because that's our 3D layer icon. And let's just go and zoom in into our Earth. I want to show you guys what's happening here. So it's very blurry, very edgy. It's not sharp like the picture that it was earlier, all right? How do we sharpen this up? Okay, so first I'm going to take that back down to where it was, and I'm going to go back to the texture. I'm gonna go down to radius and just crank this up to 1000. Now let's zoom back in. Oh, look at that, it's so much sharper now, right? And to be honest, 1000 is all you need. You don't need to go any higher than that, okay? Because the higher you go, the more taxing it is on your CPU and your GPU. I have a very powerful computer and it's still very taxing. Why? Again, because After Effects is now built for all this intensity. My hope down the line is After Effects become a full-fledged gaming engine, alright, period. If it can become a gaming engine, then I hope the Element 3D will be a full-fledged 3D modeling application software. Imagine for a second, you could do everything in After Effects using Element 3D. Isn't that cool? Alright, just a thought for Adobe and Video Copilot. But that being said, that's what you gotta do here. That's it, alright? So all we gotta do is bring in the other textures. So make sure everything's in 3D, bring your CC sphere, just repeat that step over again. And then let's go and bring in our clouds. Okay, once we are here, same thing, click on the 3D icon, CC sphere, boom. And last step, 1000. Okay, once you're here on your mode, we have to screen it and do the same thing for the nightlight, and boom. But don't do it for the earth, because if you do that, watch what happens. The stars pop up on the other side. You don't want that. Keep it at normal. Okay, all right, so guys, this takes care of bringing in, you know, earth and all the textures for earth. So the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing for the moon. Okay, so let's go and bring in our moon texture, and let's just do our CC sphere and make sure it's in 3D. And now we're just going to move that moon to the side, just like that. Isn't that cool? All right, so that takes care of our earth and our moon. Okay, so the next step here is I'm going to show you guys how to do the earth rotation and the clouds rotation, and how to actually have the moon rotate around the earth, which is super interesting because everything is just 2D. So the way to do this is we have to first highlight all of these, right click, go to transform, and click on auto orient, and then go down to orient towards camera. Okay, what does this do? This makes sure that no matter what you do in your rotation, it's always facing the camera, which is super awesome. Okay, so once we are here, I'm gonna go back to my one view, and you guys will see that in a little bit, but we have to make sure that that's taken care of. Also, the auto orient toward camera will not work if you don't have a camera, so make sure you create a new camera first before that can work. All right, once we are here, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna zoom back in here really quick. And as you guys can see, these textures are so sharp and they look so real that you don't really have to do anything else if you don't want to. That already looks pretty good, right? But you know, I love sci-fi, so I give it a sci-fi look. All right, so what we need to do here is we need to link some very important connections here. So we're gonna link the night to the regular textures. And to do that, we have to go to our rotations. Okay, so open up your CC sphere and go to your rotation. What I want you guys to do is click your Alt key and click on that icon right there, and just link it to our master earth. Same thing here, just like that, and same thing here, just like that. Once we are here, everything is linked, so let's make sure that it's working, right? So we're gonna rotate the y-axis and making sure that it's working. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to move this in my quarter, and I know it's gonna look weird, but it's gonna help me make sure that things will be smoother. Okay, so you know what, I think I might even be able to go to half and it's still gonna be pretty good. Yay, I'll keep it at half. All right, so is it working? Yeah, it's working because my nights are moving with my texture map here, so that's perfect, okay? It's working just the way I want to. Now, for the clouds, it'll be the same thing, guys, but we're not gonna link the cloud to our master texture. The clouds will be set as they are because the clouds are going to be moving at a different speed than the Earth, and that's gonna give a little bit of realism, all right? So we're gonna leave that where it's at. Now that we have this control, I just wanted to show you guys that part. Now what I want to do now is I'm going to go in my 2 views and I'm going to zoom back out because I want to see the moon right now, okay? And I'm going to zoom on this side and I know my moon is right here. Now if you guys can see, the moon is facing what? It's facing the camera. That's why there's that rotation right there, and that's exactly what you want, okay? So let's go ahead and undo these really quick and let's just focus on our moon here. So I want the moon to start right here, and as it's starting right here, I'm just going to set keyframes. That's all I'm going to do, set keyframes, okay? And we're going to set keyframes on our CC sphere here. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, not on our CC sphere, on our transform. So there it is right here, and I'm gonna set a keyframe for the anchor point just in case, just want to be safe. So from here to, I don't know, 1 second, which is ridiculous, but we'll have it move this way, okay? And then from like 2 seconds, it's going to be moving like this, all right? And we're over exaggerating here, of course, but I just want to show you guys what you need to understand. And from here is gonna go like this, and from 4 it's going to go around like that, and for 5 seconds it's going to go back down, okay, just like this. Okay, again, horrible circle, okay. I mean, this is so horrible, I don't know what to say. But here's a cool thing though, once you're done with it, you can actually control it better, alright? And so if your circle doesn't look like a circle, it's okay, because at any point you can, you know, make it better. So let's say here, it didn't look how I wanted to, right? So I'm just gonna set a keyframe. Once I set a keyframe, look at that. I can just move this around, alright? Pretty cool, right? So now that you guys know that, I'm gonna undo that part, okay? So now that it looks like this, let's just see what it looks like. So I'm gonna go back to my first view and we're just gonna scroll through this. Look at that, isn't that cool? Totally cool, right? 2D, not 3D. But we give it the illusion that it's 3D. And why does it work? It works because it's looking at the camera. That's why this is so important for you guys to make sure that you auto orient your 2D images that we clicked into 3D toward the camera. There you go. And that's how you move the moon around the Earth. Alright? Okay. Now, you guys have also already learned how to do that with the Earth. So let's go and do that right now. We're going to give the Earth some rotation. So we're going to go back to 0. And I'm going to set a keyframe here at 1. Oh, not at 1. There are 2 ways you guys can do this. You can set keyframes, or you can do what I'm about to tell you here. Write an expression. So we're gonna write time 5. Okay. So now the rotation is gonna rotate in increments of 5 times, just like that. Okay. So that looks pretty cool. Now I'm gonna make sure the clouds are also rotating, but the clouds are going to be rotating at a different increment. So same thing, click Alt and type in the expression. So Earth was moving at 5, let's make the clouds move at 3 just to see what it looks like. Alright, so I'm not sure what moves faster, the clouds or the Earth. If you guys have the answer, just write it down in the comments down below, okay? I'm not sure what moves faster. I think the clouds move faster, so I'm going to fix that right now. I'm going to, we're going to over exaggerate this right now, okay? we're gonna say 10, and then we're gonna go back to our master Earth and we're gonna say 7. Okay, so now let's zoom back out and where we can see the moon, and let's see what this looks like. There you go. All right, just like that, and it's just 4 or 5 seconds. See, just like that. All right, okay guys, that takes care of this part here with the rotations. All right, the next step is doing a day and night cycle. So what I'm going to show you guys is very easily how to do that, and the rest will be up to you guys to decide how many night and day cycle you guys really want to have. Okay, so we're gonna do everything using our Earth map and our moon, because we also have to make sure that the light on the moon matches the Earth. So let's just go and start with the Earth, and we're gonna just be playing with the light right here. I'm going to just crank that all the way down like this, okay, because I'm just gonna say it's night. And so by doing it that way, I have to also make sure that my clouds are matching properly. All right, the thing about the clouds is you can decide to just link the clouds to the master map, so that whatever you do on the master map will look the same on the clouds. But clouds are a little bit different. You can still see them at night, even though you can barely see them. So you have to decide what you're really trying to do. Let's just click on this so you guys can see what I'm saying. So if we crank this all the way down, we can still see the clouds, right? But if you like it this way, totally cool. Then just link the clouds to the master Earth. But if you're like me and you're a bit more picky, you kind of like it like this better. If you do, I know it's more tedious, it's more on your workflow, but you're gonna have to set keyframes for every transformation that you do. I hope this makes sense. I'm not gonna do it here, but I just wanted to tell you guys how to do it so that you could do it this way. All right, to me this Earth looks better like this. Okay, now let's go back here and let's just go ahead and create our light rotations. So once we're here, we're gonna want more light on our night cycle. So I'm gonna crank this up to 200. All right, and it's really cranking up the lights. And let me double check here. What if I take the ambient down to 5? Yep, I'm gonna get some darkness, and I like that. What about I do the same thing here? Yep, I like that as well. This, guys, looks very familiar, right? This looks something just like in Element 3D, or if you've used any 3D application modeling software, you'll see this as well. So this is nothing new to us at all. Okay, now let's go ahead and start a rotation right now. I'm going to also do the same thing for my moon here, and I'm just gonna play with the lights. Let's change the direction, and let's just move that, boom, just like that, and that looks pretty good. So as the moon is moving around, we're just gonna make sure that our day starts and our night falls. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up, because we need to go from here now, because we're gonna be setting keyframes. Okay, and we're gonna be setting keyframes for these two here. So I want to make sure I have 2 keyframes for that, and for at 1 second, not even 1, maybe right here, maybe starting right here, it's starting to move. Okay, maybe just about right there, and as it goes about right there, again it's moved more, and I'll say it's maybe about right there, and as it goes behind Earth, then I say it's totally gone. All right, so let's just see what it looks like. Here's that. Okay, that looks really good, and it goes around, and it goes right here, and okay, so obviously maybe that looks better right there. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, and that's that. So as it comes around, of course, it's gonna end at what was it, 5 seconds? Oh, wrong one. There it is. So about right there, that's when it ends. So about right there, what you're gonna want to do now is making sure that you have a keyframe set right here, and that's for your light direction. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom all the way until we only have frames. So from here to here, what I want to do now is move this light back like this and just pivot the light. Okay, and once it's pivoted like that, I know for a fact that it's gonna pop up this way. All right, and we have to make sure that these keyframes are like super close to one another. Okay, so you won't even see the transition as it goes through. Let's zoom out because our moon's gonna come up, and when our moon comes up, we'll just have to make sure to match that. Okay, it's coming back up like this, and I'll probably say maybe over exaggerate it a little bit. Let's just take that down to right there. Okay, so let's see how it looks now. There it is, 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 just like that. It goes around and boom, it comes back, and here's our night cycle starting all over again. So guys, that's all you have to do right here. Just repeat this 6 million times if you want 6 million day and night cycle. All right, so just remember that your moon light has to also match. So now it's going to work on the moon. So let's close this so we don't get confused. Let's open this up. And so it starts here, which is great, and once it gets here, let's flip the light around. Just close the light. Oh, you know what? I didn't set keyframes. That will lead to mistakes. So I'm gonna set a keyframe right about 1 second, and about when it's right there, I'm going to just close it. Let's see what it looks like. There you go. And once it gets about right there, I'm just going to reopen it. But now I have to reopen it from the other side. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna do exactly what I just showed you guys from the Earth. Set a keyframe right there. Move that keyframe back and flip it around. Okay. So when it gets here, it's like this. But we have a problem now. So we need to make sure that we shut this keyframe off, and once we are here, we get this keyframe going here, and we'll just reopen it over there. Okay, so it might not make sense because I actually want the light to start here, and so because I want the light to start here, I have to move these two here. There you go, just like that. That makes more sense. Now once it's here, I'm definitely going to want this whole side to be lit. So there it is, like that. And it's going to go behind. Once you go about right there, then you can totally just light it up. And once it gets here, let's just set a keyframe right here where we can't see the moon. And once we get here, let's just go ahead. We're gonna have to flip it around. So how do we do that? Remember, we're just gonna do the same way we did down there. Set a keyframe down here, move this one back, and flip the light around. You know, to see what you're doing, you kind of have to go like this. And so we want to flip it this way now, okay? And so once we are here, we're gonna move this keyframe over here, and we want this to actually be lit. that's the way I want it to go. Alright, so I'm going to delete this one and fix it. Okay, that looks much better, guys. I apologize if I made that mistake, but you actually had the opportunity to correct it with me, which is great, because now you can see that this part was time consuming because I kept making mistakes. You know, I got better with just practicing, but so I want it to be about right there. Okay, and so once it's coming here at about past here, then I'm going to just go ahead and move it back about right there. Let's just see what it looks like now. So, and we're focusing on the moon right now. Okay, so looking at the moon, the light is coming out properly and it's moving exactly how I want it to move. Once we get here, it's exactly doing what I exactly want it to do. Okay, so alright guys, that takes care of the day and night cycle on Earth, and that also takes care of the moon. Alright, the next thing I want to show you guys is the asteroids and the spaceship flying through, which everything is 2D, but we're just going to create the illusion of 3D. So let's just go ahead and create a new folder. We're going to call that folder pictures and click enter, and from there you're going to just go into your files and bring in our pictures here. And there it is. From here I'm going to go and start with the asteroids. I'm going to turn it into a new composition, move that into a composition folder. From here I'm going to go to composition up here, composition setting, and I'm going to turn this into 4K. It's either 4K for you or 1080p, so decide that on your own. And whoa, right, 2160 is what I need here. There it is. And from here, what I want to do now is I want to mask it. Alright, so guys, mine's gonna look horrible. Make sure yours look good, but you know, it's a tutorial, so I'm just gonna go through as fast as I can, just because I want to show you guys what you need to know to make sure how I did this. Once again, this is just a workflow, because if I sat here and show you guys how I did everything, we'd be here for 6,000 hours. We just don't have that kind of time. There we go, there we go. Okay, once it's like this, I mean, I'm just gonna fix a few things here and there, else it's gonna drive me bonkers. Alright, once it's like this, let's just go ahead and feather it out really quick. Actually, let's do 1 and -1, and let's click away just to see what it looks like, and that's good enough. Now what we want to do is we want to bring that back into our, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that just yet, but since it's here already, we'll just leave it here. Let's go back to our asteroids and click this away. Whoops. And what you want to do next is we want to duplicate this. You can duplicate these asteroids as many times as you want, but I'm just gonna do 3 of them. Okay, so, and I'm gonna make sure they're in 3D, and one is gonna move in here and is gonna be moving in Z space behind, and I'm going to duplicate that again, and I'm gonna put it up here. Once it's up here, I'm gonna go to 2 views. I'm gonna see how far they are from each other. This one, it's okay for this one to be here, but I actually want this one to be here. And now I'm going to click S for scale, and I'm just gonna scale it down to give it that illusion that it's actually far in distance. All right, okay, so now let's go back to Earth, and it should be right there too, which is totally okay. From here, we have to make sure we click this to make that 3D, and of course it went into the distance because it's following your camera. You also have to make sure that you right click on it, go to transform, auto orient, and make sure that if you're not doing anything too crazy, you can orient it toward the camera. But for this scene here, it doesn't need to be, okay? Because if it is, then it looks super strange. So don't do that. Now, just put these in locations that you want to. Let's go to our 2 views here. Let's make sure that we know where things are. and it's right here right now. I'm going to move it closer to the camera. I'm going to move it to the side, and just like this, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and now I'm going to move that one over here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my transform in my Z. I'm going to do a rotation, and I'm just gonna, you know, just give it a little bit of, as if they, you know, they're not the same, but they are. So from there, I want to go back here, and I'm gonna give all of these some rotations. Okay, so go to, not your position, let's just go to your transform and your Z position here. And you know what, I should have done that with the first one to begin with, so I would have saved some time, but since I didn't do that, I'm just gonna have to do it for all of them. So the rotation is the expression that we did earlier, which is time, and for the sake of the tutorial we'll say 5, and then from here I want to just copy that, and I want to go back here, alt click and copy and paste. Well, I'll just paste it now. So same here, alt and click on that, and just control and V to paste it, and now it should have rotation, which it does, and that's fantastic. And if we go back here and we go to our one view, what we should be seeing is the Earth is rotating, the moon is rotating, we have a day and night cycle, and our asteroid should be rotating. So I'm going to take this down to a quarter, and I'm just going to press the space bar and see what happens. Oh, and I also did that before I came in. I actually created the camera where the camera actually zoom in to give us that fake 3D world that we're living in. Okay, so how did I do that? So you just go back to camera, and then I just set some keyframe right here. Okay, so I decided that at 3 seconds I was going to zoom in. So you click here, or you click here to set your first keyframe, and then at 5 seconds all you have to do is go to your 2 views and just move your camera on the Z position. Okay, just like this. All right, and so that will give us the illusion that we are actually moving in 3D. And so to really sell the illusion even more, put a whole bunch of asteroids everywhere, so that once you pass this asteroids, it's, you know, passing another section of the asteroids. So let's make sure that this one is moved back like this. Okay, and then we're going to move it closer here, just like that, and we're going to move it higher up. So now you will see what I'm saying. So it's going to pass the first asteroid and the second one and to Earth. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's go ahead and bring in our jet. So same thing with our jet. I'm just gonna throw it in a new composition, and I'm gonna go back to one view, zoom in, and I'm going to do a absolute horrible job in the masking. Make sure that you guys do a better job than I am, but for the sake of the tutorial, this is probably the worst masking in the world. It's okay. I'm gonna follow these right now. Just gonna, oh gosh, this looks so horrible. It's driving me bonkers, but it's okay, I'll live. There we go. Worst masking in the whole entire world. Alright. There it is. You might hear some thunder here right now. I live in Montana, guys. So just in case if you guys didn't know where I'm from, I am from Montana, where we love our mountains and it's awesome. Weather's pretty bad out there right now. You guys might hear some thunder in the background, so just so you know. Alright, so when it looks like this, let's just go ahead and mask things out. We'll say 1 here and -1 over here, and let's just click away, and that's good enough. Let's go ahead and bring this back to our Earth, and actually I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna decrease the size to about 30. And then I'm gonna bring this to my Earth. And what I want to do now is I want to go to layer, new, and a null object is what we want. We want to make sure that null object is a 3D. What is going to I can't even talk straight. What is the null object going to be? It's going to be the solid that we'll use to move our sci-fi jet fighter around. Okay, I don't want to move this through this solid here, it's too painful. I instead want to use a null object that I have full control over. But before we do that, we have to link our positions. Okay, so same thing that I've taught you guys earlier how to do, and we got to make sure this is in 3D. And this is good practice to do this so that you guys have, you know, more practice. You'll know what to do next time as well. So I'll click on that and just move position to the position. You want to pick with that to that, and then you just want to do the X, and then you want to do the Y, and then of course you want to do the Z. Once it's like this, close this up, and we're using the null only to control where we want the ship to go. So I know that it's right here, so I'm just gonna move it back where my camera is, which is right here. Asteroid, asteroid, Earth, moon, ship. Move that in Z space, and from here to about 4.5, I'm just going to have the ship move about right here, and I'm gonna go back and make the ship even smaller, like 10. Okay, go back to Earth, and from here to here it looks okay. So now I'm going to start setting keyframes. So at 2 seconds, I'm going to leave it over there, and I'm going to set a keyframe on my position, and then at 0, I'm just gonna bring it back and pass the camera out. So let's see what that looks like. And if I'm going fast, I do apologize. Always in time constraint, but you guys can pause, fast forward, or rewind as you see fit, so it should be okay. Let's press the space bar, and there it is right there. And once we're right here, the camera zooms in and passes the asteroids, and there it is right there. Okay, so once again, let's see what it looks like. So what we should have here is a day and night cycle. Earth is moving, the clouds are moving, the moon is moving around the Earth, and the Earth lighting matches the lighting on the Earth. Our asteroids are in 3D space, and they are 2D space. I mean 3D space, but they're 2D pictures. They're rotating, giving the illusion that we are moving 3D space. Alright guys, the next step we're gonna take here is we're gonna create the sun coming behind from the Earth. But one thing we gotta do first is we gotta fix our clouds really quick. At about 2.5 seconds, let's go ahead and put a keyframe there on the light height, and at about 5 seconds, I want you guys to crank that up all the way to 100% so we see all the clouds again. Okay, that takes care of that. And then on our camera here, we're gonna move our last keyframe to about 6 seconds, and from 5 to 6, we're gonna click here to set a new keyframe, and that'll be this number that we have here. And then let's move that to 6 seconds and move our y-axis down so that our planet is going down like this, and we just want to keep it just enough so we can still see our ship here, just like that. Okay, all right. Okay, and so let's quickly look to see what it's gonna look like. The ship goes in, and that's when we have a zoom, and from here the camera is gonna pivot. There you go, just like that. Okay, and then from 7 to, you know, I don't know, 10 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, the sun will pop up. Okay, so I'm gonna click save really quick, and what I want to do now is go ahead and go to layer, solid, and let's call that sun, and keep it at this color right here, and click OK. Once we are here, go to this icon, choose the ellipse tool, click right at the center of your solid, click on control on your keyboard and create the circle just like this. All right, and we'll just go down to our mask and just feather the first one out like this, and then I want you guys to do Control D. And what we're gonna do is we are going to go back to our feathering, and we're gonna keep this one like this instead, but we're gonna make it much smaller. From here, go to your mode and click on add, and let's just see what add will make everything look like. So it's definitely adding this light to it. We're gonna do a bit more than that. We're gonna click glow on your effects and presets, grab the glow, and let's throw it on the second one, and then let's also throw it on the first one. Okay, now it's definitely gonna give us a different color, and we'll fix that later. But for now, we're just trying to create that light to make sure that it's working properly. Okay, so let's just go and feather things out. Okay, let's go in and go back to this one and feather it about like this, and we'll feather it out just a tiny bit more, just like that. Now let's go and feather this center one here for the sun look. Okay, so you want it to look just like that. Okay, maybe I'll even feather this one out a bit more. There it is. And once we have it like that, I want you guys to grab those two, type S for scale, and let's just scale it down to about this size right there. And then we're gonna bring that beneath the earth. There it is, just like that. Once we have it here, it's just a matter of using our control to move the earth, I mean not the earth, but the sun where we want it to go. So click P for position. And so from, let's go back to our camera. From 7 to maybe 10, let's set a keyframe here. Let's move the camera down. The camera, I'm sorry, the sun. And from 3 seconds, let's just go ahead and move the sun back up. Click shift on your keyboard so that it doesn't go anywhere. No movement, it's a straight shot going up. Okay, so we'll put the sun right there. Okay, so let's see what everything looks like. So we are, there it is. We're starting to zoom in. All right, we got some motion blur. I added some motion blur too, and I'll tell you guys how to do that in a little bit. And from here, it's going downwards. There it is, and the sun from behind pops up just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off our motion blur and keep it, do quarter, and just click spacebar just to see where things are at. And I can tell here that my sun is popping up where it's not supposed to. So how do we fix that? Easy. We're gonna do T for opacity, and we're gonna take it to 0. And we're gonna set a keyframe for that, and about 1 frame before the sun comes up, let's crank it back up to 100%. Okay, so here we have no sun, here we have a sun. So let's move back here, and so you guys can see why I did this. Now when we go back to the beginning, the sun is not glowing anymore, okay, because the opacity is at 0. I hope that makes sense. That made sense for you guys. Okay. All right. So let's click the space bar and see what we got going on here. There we go. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's doing this. Awesome. 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 And camera zooms down, and the sun will pop up. There it is, popping from behind, just like that. And at 10 seconds, boom. All right, that's exactly what we want, and that's beautiful. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to create a flare. So new solid, and it's called that sun flare. Leave everything where it's at, but this time I'm going to make this into a black solid, and I'm going to move that on top, and then I want to go to effect, and then generate is where you want to go, and flare, and there it is, lens flare. All right, so what you want to do now is just choose which one you want, okay, and go from there. Which one did I choose? I think it was this one right here that I chose. And then what you want to do is you just want to mix it with, oh, not mix, but blend with the original. So 30 is not bad. And so what you want to do now is simply, you know, just blend it as best as you possibly can. So from 7, I'm just gonna go to effect, lens flare, and put my keyframe there because I'm not sure where it's at. And oh, you know, we don't see anything because we have to go to our mode and we have to screen it. Boom. And from there to there it is, my sun is up there. So click on this icon here because that's your flare. Click on shift on your keyboard and bring it straight forward. Okay, so let's just see what that looks like. All right, so there it is, like that. And it's not perfect, guys, but I think you guys get the idea, okay, of what I'm trying to do right here. So if it's not perfect, you guys just fix it, okay? There it is, just like that. All right, and to make sure that we're not getting anything like this, once again, guys, from here you guys can choose to, you know, have the brightness go in and out. It's really up to you guys, or you guys can do it through the blending, okay? Because if you do 100%, then you don't see it anymore. So I'm gonna start here at 100%, and about right there, I'm just gonna just play with this and see what I get. All right, and now let's just see. There you go, that looks pretty good, right? And once you get right here, you can like crank it down even more. So let's say about right there, we get about 40%, okay, which looks pretty good. And once we get to our final destination, that's at 30%. All right, so it'll look just like this. Boom, there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and back this up, and let's just keep it at a quarter, press the space bar, and see what we get here. All right, our rocks are rotating, the moon is going around the earth, we have some rotation on earth, and we are zooming in, going up, and the sun comes up with our flare. There it is, just like that. Okay, let's look at it really quick again. There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, and there is that. Okay, very cool. All right, guys, so that takes care of how to create the sun coming through behind the earth with After Effects lens flare. Very easy. Alright guys, the last step of course is to add some motion blur to our footage here. Since we already shot everything at 24 frames per second, adding some motion blur will give us that film look reality here. Okay, so all you have to do is you have two options. One, you can just click on this icon here and let After Effects know which solid needs to be blurred, and then click on this icon here to enable the blur. Or two, you go to Effects and Presets and you type in blur and decide which plugin you want to use here. Okay, wow, today we learned so much. We went back to just using After Effects plugins and we created a 3D environment using non-3D meshes. We used 2D pictures and moved them in 3D environment to give it the illusion that we're living in a 3D world. That being said, for those of you who are actually visual effects artists, you know, I think it's good for us to do that from time to time so we don't always rely on awesome third-party plugins, okay? Well guys, if you learned a lot from this tutorial, which to me it was great and I really like the end result, you guys know what to do. Please like and subscribe as it always helps me make more tutorials like this. And for those of you who are visual effects artists, hopefully you learned something from there too. That being said, my name is Lobo, the channel is called ZooPF Visual Effects, and you have just been part of my channel. Alright guys, Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye now.